If you are watching this video right now, you probably have a big snowstorm coming towards your area, and you're trying to get ready. You want to make sure that you're safe, that you're warm, that you're healthy, that your family is healthy, safe, and warm. And if you're a country person like I am, you got more stuff to worry about because you probably got some animals, I bet, and you're probably a little more self-sufficient. You're a little more on your own. So I'm going to hopefully help you out and explain what to do to get ready for a winter storm. We live in Western North Carolina, and believe it or not, even though it's about 50 degrees right now, there is a potentially massive snowstorm coming to the farm. They're saying 8 to 18 plus inches. So for Western North Carolina, that's a pretty big storm. This could be the biggest storm we've had since we've lived on our farm in almost 10 years. We'll just have to see what's happening. So I'm going to show you what we did to get ready, and hopefully I'll give you some tips, and I may surprise you with a few things you don't realize. This is one of our turkeys. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Turkeys are very sweet animals, believe it or not. Look at this guy, or girl, sorry, this is Squeegee. But hey, let's go ahead and talk about what you need to do to get ready for a winter storm. Okay, so we are going to talk about some essentials. It's just like any other survival situation. There's certain things you got to worry about in any situation, right? You got to worry about food. You got to worry about water. You got to worry about shelter, power, electricity, your health, and what else are we going to talk about? Oh, we're also going to talk about air, believe it or not. Air, yes. And we're also going to talk about entertainment and your neighbors, people. So that's what this video is about. I'm going to break it down into what I'm doing to help you out. Now, food. If you got a winter storm coming in the next day or so, and you haven't gotten food for yourself yet, I hate to tell you, people, you're almost too late. I'm not a prepper, but I am an Eagle Scout, Boy Scout. I try to be prepared. I always got enough food at my house usually, and let's be honest, you probably do too. Think about during lockdown, there was food you had, you just didn't want to eat it, right? We're humans, we're very picky about what we eat, we get bored. But let's be honest, most people probably have enough food, even if they don't go shopping, to get through 4 or 5 days. It may be canned goods. It may be stuff you don't like to eat. It might be rice and beans, people. It might be that big thing of oatmeal. So food for you, I'm not too worried about food for most folks. Even if you're not a prepper, you probably got food in your cupboard. If you don't, hopefully you have time to get out there and get what you need. As far as your power going out, food, right? The good thing about a snowstorm, you can put your food outside because it's going to be nice and cold. Now, living in the country, you got to worry about your animals as well, right? So we have about 50 animals here on the farm. I'm going to show you a few more here. We got our goats here. That's right. Hey, buddy. So we got our goats, we got some mini pigs in here, chickens, we got 5 horses, dogs, cats, turkeys. I got honeybees I got to worry about. So really we got about close to 40 animals, not counting my bees, that we also got to help out. So we have plenty of hay. We got about 40 bales of hay, actually. Not worried about hay. I also got a few square bales. We're probably going to move the goats and the pigs into the barn later today, maybe tomorrow morning. The storm's not really hitting till later tonight, so we got to make sure that all of our animals have food. I bought extra food 4 or 5 days ago, so I didn't get stuck in the mayhem at feed stores. I did stop by and get 2 bales of straw and an extra bale of hay this morning. But most of my animal food I got days ahead of time. So really, you gotta, if you can, prepare ahead of time as much as you can. Water is also a big important thing, right? All of our animals need to have water. We got the water buckets filled up. Chickens have about 10 gallons of water. The horses have about 200 gallons of water all filled up. We also, for the horses, if we need to, we have an automatic water system. But of course, if the electricity goes out, then we don't have water because we're on a well, right? So that's something else you got to think about. We are going to not only fill up extra containers, we're going to fill up extra containers for ourselves as well. I have two 10-gallon jugs that I use for camping that I'm going to fill those up, so we'll have that. And a lot of folks will fill up their bathtub so that they can flush your toilet. They can use water for washing. I wouldn't drink that water, even though it's safe when it comes out of the faucet, but then it's in your bathtub, you know, soap and such. But that's the thing you can do, people. You can fill up your bathtub to use that water for things you're not doing for drinking, right? If the power goes out, your water's probably going to go out, and you're going to need water to survive. Luckily, we got a spring on our property. I've had to do this before. If the power goes out and we need water, if our water sources are gone after a few days, then I can always refill from the spring. It takes, I don't know, maybe a minute and a half to fill up a 4-gallon bucket. So it's not easy, and I'd have to haul it and such. But we, luckily, living in the country, we do got a nice spring on our property that we can use if we got to. Okay, so we talked about food and water, started talking about electricity a little bit. So let's talk more about electricity. We're not off-grid or anything. That would be a dream, a nice thing. But a lot of folks out there aren't off-grid either. If your electricity goes out, you got to worry first and foremost about heat, right? You can't see it on the other side of the house, but we do got a chimney and a wood stove. That's going to be our main source of heat. If the power goes out, we'll have to hang out in the living room there. Probably tonight I'm going to go ahead and start a fire, because you don't want to start your wood stove when you don't have any power, right? Because it may be the middle of the night. You may be doing this in the pitch dark at 2 a.m. in the morning, right? So the smart thing is to get that fire going tonight before the storm hits, so that it's nice and warm throughout the night. You fall asleep, you're still going to be warm. You may have to stoke that fire once or twice, but that's what I'm going to be doing tonight. I'm going to have a fire going all day tomorrow, just in case that power goes out. Okay, here's a few things in the truck. We got our straw bales. We got an extra thing of hay. We got some diesel gas. I got about 4 or 5 gallons of normal gas back there too, I guess. That is for our generator. If we need to use a generator, we can. Really, if we don't have electricity, not the biggest of deals for powering stuff and light sources. We got lots of charged batteries. We got extra batteries for light. And we got wood for our heat source. For cooking, we got our propane grill. So that kind of goes back to cooking and food. How are you going to cook, right? If you have an electric stove like we do, you got to have an alternative, right? So for you, maybe you need to dig out that camping stove. Make sure your propane grill's right. Maybe you got a charcoal grill you can use, people. So let's go ahead and talk about something else I mentioned at the beginning of the video. Air, which I know is kind of weird. But listen to me, people. Major danger during winter storms. People die from carbon monoxide. That's right. Using kerosene heaters indoors. Can't believe people still do that. Silly. Lots of other heaters. Think even propane. even with wood stoves and fireplaces, if your flue's messed up, you can die from carbon monoxide, people. So air, you need air to breathe. You don't want that carbon monoxide, called the silent killer, is going to slowly suffocate you as you sleep. Usually, it's horrible. You see it on the news. Sometimes entire families die, 3 generations of family. It's just horrible. Usually, here's Banjo the cat. Hey, Banjo. Usually, if you have pets inside or small children, those are the first to experience symptoms. They pass out. They complain of headaches. But it happens a lot of times at night because you're inside, sleeping. You're not going outside. There's not ventilation. So you're in an enclosed space, and then slowly over several hours, the carbon monoxide replaces oxygen, and you pass away, people. So be really, really careful with those heat sources, right, Banjo? You don't want to think you're solving a problem and creating another problem for yourself, right? That is right, buddy. That is right. You are a crazy little cat. This is Banjo. We got him from the Humane Society probably 7 years ago. They were calling him Diablo, actually. Not his official name. I don't remember what his official name was, but they called him a devil cat. And they were going to put this guy to sleep. And he was in the cat room, and he literally came right up to me and started snuggling. And my wife and daughter said that he was a smart cat. He knew who he had to convince. And I guess he's doing his little magic. He's a good cat. Oh, Banjo. So food, water, shelter, air, all important. Heat, electricity. Hopefully you got that covered. You also want to have warm clothes handy, people. You may be wearing warm clothes inside your house. That's a great way to keep warm. And just remember this, if you're dressed properly, you'll probably be okay inside your house, even if you don't have a heat source. I've done a fair share of winter camping. I was a winter guide up in northern Minnesota and Canada, out for 4 or 5 days in negative 30-degree temperature. The right clothing is going to keep you warm, and eating food is going to keep you warm, because your body is going to burn energy and keep you warm that way. You can even boil water at night, put it in water bottles, or maybe you got a water pad, a heat pad for feeling sick, or I guess relieving muscle pain or something. You can fill up those water bottles with hot water, maybe not boiling water, and cap them off, and you can sleep with them at night, and that'll kind of warm you up, right? So the key is you want to stay warm, people. Do what you got to do to stay warm. Maybe you got some cats or dogs that can sleep in the bed with you. And being a country person, if you got animals, you not only want to have everything they need, but you want to have it be accessible. So I got, this is our hay shed that's kind of turned into a storage shed for homestead gear, because now we got a hay barn. But I do got a couple hay bales in here. I'm going to move these to the barn because that's where the goats and pigs are going to be. We also got some shovels here, snow shovels. We don't use snow shovels that often, but I'm going to get those shovels, have them by the doors, because a shovel up here is not going to help me if I can't get this door open, right? You want to have stuff accessible. So start thinking, what do I need? Where is it at? If you got those flashlights, if you got to charge some batteries, I use Ryobi 18+1 system for power tools, and I got a couple flashlights. I got 7 or 8 batteries I'm going to be charging, and we'll have a light source. So you got, if you do all of this stuff, make sure it's accessible, because you may not be able to get it easily in a storm, right? So like I said earlier, if you're a country person, you're probably a little more self-reliant, self-sufficient than, say, a city person. You're used to not always getting help. The nearest hospital to us is about, well, there is a small hospital about 25 minutes away, but the main hospital, if you get in serious trouble around here, they put you in a helicopter and fly you about 40 miles away. If you have an emergency, you may not get help. We live on the end of a dirt road. It's maintained by us and our neighbors, and there's no snowplow coming to clear our driveway, okay? So you also want to think about transportation, right? You hopefully got your cars all gassed up, but cars may not make it out, right? We do got our Kawasaki Mule. I'm hoping that this can be a transportation source if we need it. Really, really important to make sure. We may need to get around somewhere. I don't know where. Really, we're probably going to just be hanging out as a family, riding out the storm. I'm expecting to be stuck here for 2 or 3 days, people, which I'm totally okay with. We got these animals to take care of, worry about. But if you got an alternative source of transportation, think about what you need to do for that, right? And honestly, that alternative source may be a good pair of winter boots, right? I mentioned at the beginning of the video, neighbors, right? If you got elderly neighbors, we got some great neighbors down the road. We're probably going to go check on them at some point, make sure they're okay. My wife is good friends with the lady down there. So just think about other people, right? Unfortunately, you got to take care of yourself first. That's not selfishly. That's because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't really help others, right? If you're not ready, you're not going to be ready to help other people, right? So also start thinking about your local folks and family and friends that you might be able to walk to help out. Maybe you'll have power, maybe they won't, maybe they haven't prepared, and hopefully you have, right? The last important thing is staying sane out there. Okay, hang on, this ain't the last important thing. One more thing, healthy medicine, right? I should have said this at the beginning of the video. I luckily don't have any medication, but maybe one day I will. I know some folks out there gotta worry about medicine stuff, right? So make sure you got the medicine you need. But the last thing is entertainment, right? What are you gonna do to have fun? For us, it's gonna be sledding, reading books, playing board games, maybe watching movies if we got power. We may even take our skis out and see if we can ski on our property. So you want to have fun, you want to stay warm, healthy, food, water, air. You need all these good things, right? So I hope this video has been helpful. If you watch our channel, there's no snow on the ground right now, but they're predicting for where I live, I've seen as much as 18 inches. As that happens, that'll be quite the storm, people. I hope we're ready. I hope you're ready. If you got any advice for other folks, just leave it in the comments, and stay warm, stay safe. If you are watching this video right now, you probably got a big storm heading your way, a big snowstorm, and you're wondering, what do I need to make sure I can do to keep myself safe, healthy, warm, keep my family healthy, safety, warm, warm, safety, healthy.